and welcome back to the Nightmare Fuel podcast. I am Reese, and as always, being joined by Hagbard Celine, and we have a returning guest, Spinosaurus Kin. What's up, man?
Um, you know, uh, I'm being stalked by Nazis as always, so as good as it can get.
Yeah, you kind of wasted your good line when you first entered the hangout.
I know.
Damn
Yeah.
it! Doesn't have the same magic.
There's only one other person I know who I can actually share like Nazi stalking stories with. Um, so it's really weird.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird community now, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it's a weird community when it's actually like it now contains literal neo-Nazis who refuse to accept that they're neo-Nazis. They're like, oh, are you a Nazi? Are you a Nazi supporter? No, are you a Nazi sympathizer? You know, the genocide wasn't that bad. It wasn't the worst one.
I've seen worse genocides.
Yeah, I've seen worse genocides. You can't say the Nazis were that bad.
Nazis didn't do nothing. Make it trend.
Sake. Hitler did nothing wrong.
Oh, it's genius.
Yeah, and this is literally happening within the skeptic community.
Oh, we can't call it that anymore. Come on, it needs a new name.
Yeah, it really does. It's like, it's more like an umbrella of sub communities that are all opposed to social justice. And yeah,
you know who else was opposed to social justice? The Nazis. Bingo. Can't fight against that. The Nazis, they really are the ultimate role model. Like, if you want to stamp down on SJW nonsense, just go full Third Reich. That's the way to go.
Of course. That's pretty much the way to. That's the only way to defeat social justice is to go full fucking Hitler.
Fascist this shit up. But anyway.
But honestly, if that is the only way, in all honesty, if that is the only way, then I'll take social justice any day of that.
People are saying edgy sphincter in the chat. Jesus.
Oh god.
Man, I thought I was mean. Anyway, what are you gonna say, Hagbard? It's all good. But anyway, so apparently this came to our attention because there was more email shit, and there's this spirit cooking deal, and we have a Paul Joseph Watson video we're going to watch and react to that, and that is our first video of the night. Excellent.
Manager John Podesta attends weird occult dinner parties where blood, semen, and breast milk are used in ritualistic ceremonies. No, this isn't a fake news story. It's absolutely real. And there you...
It's... Oh my god. This idea... Oh, it's a real news story. Well, yeah, okay. So, should we go through what exactly happened?
Sure.
The campaign manager, the brother of Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, was sent an invite to one of these fucking weird meetings. It's literally grasping at straws. And it sounds really fucking. It's probably like some like spam email that she's sending to everyone.
Yeah, Marina Abramovic. I mean, she's got her connections and her Wiccan tentacles everywhere, so this doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Oh, by the way, Hagbard, they're saying your
yes.
Your mic's a little.
By the way, no, it's not my mic was a little. It's the broadcasting software was set to pick up only desktop audio, and because I was recording a video from a live stream with this last, and I did not change the settings over. I'm back now. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's normal. Everything's good. I didn't change the settings on.
Hagbard is safe.
Yeah, I didn't change the settings on OBS.
The globalist conspiracy trying to control
globalists
trying to silence me.
Make sure to put parentheses around it.
Yes. You've always got to put brackets.
Anytime anyone says anything like that, they just say Jews. Can we cut to the chase? Don't just wrap it in all your fancy bullshit. Just say Jews.
No, my favorite term is banksters. That's one that gets passed around a lot. Banksters.
They're not even trying with that.
Oh, okay, fine. One moment. Hello. There. Is everyone happy now? Everyone good?
I, for one, am disappointed.
There.
Oh, Omegon's fapping to us. I don't know
Always,
how I should feel about that.
always fapping to us.
Omegon is like constantly moist, so he has to continually fap.
This UFO obsession was his weirdest hobby. In an email dated June 28, 2015, performance artist Maria Abramovich wrote to Podesta's brother Tony and said, "I'm so looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place. Do you think you will be able to let me know if your brother is joining?" Tony Podesta then forwarded the email to John Podesta, asking him, "Are you in NYC Thursday, July the 9th? Marina wants you to come to dinner." Here's Marina inviting Podesta
What is this?
directly.
I don't even know if these are real, honestly. Like, this could just be some overblown fan fiction bullshit.
No, it's entirely possible. But look, this is literally the campaign manager has a weird brother. That's it.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing that's coming out of this.
Yeah.
That seems to be a pretty major theme of criticisms of both camps. I've noticed is guilt by association. It's very they think it's some big gotcha.
Yeah, it's like
everyone's.
Okay, so some. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna say that like, but just because like there are white nationalists now saying vote for Trump instead of like their white nationalist candidate in their constituency. Like, yeah, okay, well, of course they're gonna support Trump over Hillary. That's obvious, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Trump's a white nationalist.
No.
And then, but then, like, it's the same with this shit. It's like, okay, so the campaign manager has a weird brother. Like, what does this have to do with anything that actually matters?
Well, it means the
Because
family's
it's not verified if you win or not.
It means the family's wrapped up in the occult. You see.
Yeah.
It means there's a lot of Jewry happening here.
Yeah, it's proof that that Alex Jones was right when Hillary Clinton was Satan. I was trying to explain this to my Norman friend earlier, and he was just like, so wait, Hillary Clinton is she's a holographic, demonic, satanic like creature that smells like rotten eggs or something. He's trying to get his head around all the conspiracy theories, and it's amazing.
Oh,
It
that's
is funny,
okay.
though.
I followed a guy on YouTube. I'm not going to reveal the name because I don't want anyone going and harassing this old dude. But some of his videos were really cool, and he played violin, and he was a free thinker and all this other stuff, kind of an atheist guy. And now with all this, he literally was like, one of his videos is titled something like why it's important, what's important about Hillary Clinton's body odor. And I believe it comes down to she smells of sulfur.
Ah,
No,
the smoking gun.
that is just fucking.
It's funny though that like this is the last straw. Is this at the last minute? It has dissolved.
This is
devolved
the
into
like,
satanic
final attack.
conspiracy.
This is the final attack on Hillary Clinton. They could have gone with any revelation whatsoever, but they went with this.
Well, and
This is showing how half-hearted the attack against Hillary is, and how incompetent everyone is at attacking both of these presidential candidates that should be in jail.
yeah, they're both garbage. I don't see why people can't understand that first and foremost. Like I said, I do a little political talk show around here, and someone called in and they were like, oh, what about, what do you think of this person and that person? I'm like, I think 53% of all Americans hate both the candidates, so I think that's a little odd. When 53%,
Most people are voting for the candidate they hate less.
yeah, when the highest poll rating,
That's just the truth.
yeah, when the
at this
highest
point.
poll rating is 47%, that's not good.
No.
I mean, I've seen some bad presidential elections in the past, but that's not fucking good.
Yeah, and this idea that we should like you see all these like big name people, and they fucking worship Hillary, and it's all fake. It's obviously fake.
Yeah. Look,
But then you
CNN
get,
put out an
now,
article about
Trump
the
is
rap
getting
vote.
These worshippers as well. Like, why? These are obviously corrupt candidates. Neither of these people are going to do what you want the second they get in power. So why are you like supporting these people? Why are you like cheering at their rallies and shit? You are just feeding their narcissism.
America's full of simpletons. Sheep people.
Yeah, I know. Bush's approval ratings were higher. I know, consider.
Oh my god, that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So let's get educated on spirit cooking.
Basically a Wiccan ceremony where blood is used to create some form of art as a sacrament to occult beliefs. This video shows Abramovich mixing together thickly congealed blood as the recipe for the painting, which is comprised of the words, "With a sharp knife cut deeply into the middle finger of your left hand, eat the pain."
Yeah, she's been doing this since like 2011, by the way. Just so
okay,
everyone
so
knows.
she's a really fucking edgy artist.
Yeah,
So?
basically.
No, this is Satanism, guys. Blood is
Is it not?
involved.
She isn't. It's obviously just edgy bullshit. I've seen, if this is fucking satanic, then as far as I'm concerned, the Milo doing that fucking art performance where he bathed in a bath of blood, like that's satanic by the same measure, and arguably he's more connected to the Trump campaign. So, well, both of them are Satanists. Proof. Confirmed, 100%.
Yeah, so like this is how you feed the ego of a pretentious artist. If you like, wow, this really means something. Let's take this seriously. Let's make this a headline. Like, I want to see her reaction to this because I bet it's one of just pure amusement.
Yeah, it's like, why? Why are people like looking at this and actually genuinely thinking this is serious?
Because they're lunatics. They believe Satan's real. Of course, this is really them showing their face to show showing how religious.
Especially like the InfoWars crowd. They've gone.
That's all it is. This is nothing new.
InfoWars on
Yeah,
this
no,
one.
this is nothing new. The only people that are doing this are the same people that have spouted InfoWars shit the whole time. This isn't a new idea. This is just...
Yeah.
I mean, it's Paul Joseph Watson.
I guess we're just. It is just that they've grown a significant amount, so we see it more.
Oh yeah, it's so weird. It's such a departure for us. Honestly, when it comes, this kind of shit is almost too stupid for this show. Like, I look at this and I'm like, can we go back to like the more sane feminist poetry? Because I can at least wrap my head around that.
At least like in feminism, it's like men exist and women exist, and like
yes,
there are men
true.
who do mistreat women. Like those are things that can be somewhat understood. It's just the nuances of actual gender relations, and it's more. There's more to actually like rationally argue about.
Yeah, there's a difference
this
between
is just-
someone who's wrong and someone who's completely insane.
Exactly, and this is obviously on one end of the spectrum.
A lot of spectrums.
Yes. Leftists.
Left. Paul Joseph Watson's on a couple spectrums.
Yes. Many spectrums. I'm going to go with psychotic spectrum disorder.
In the queer spectrum.
Oh my god. You know, there are so many gay men who I see, and they're massive fanboys of him. Like, I know this guy, and he's a gay guy in Saudi, and he's a liberal, and he absolutely... he has like this massive crush on Paul Joseph Watson. It's so weird.
Interesting life choices.
Yes.
That's an interesting choice, indeed.
A cult practice used during sex cult rituals, as explained in the book Spirit Cooking with Essential Aphrodisiac Recipes. According to Maria Abramovich, if the ritual is performed in an art gallery, it's merely art. But if the ritual is performed privately, as it was with the Podestas, then it represents an intimate spiritual ceremony.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, is he actually...
I don't... How can people... She's getting your attention by doing this.
Yes! She's a pretentious edgelord! This is all she is! Stop!
People look at this image and they're like, oh my god, a modern Satanist. Wow.
Here's a
Oh
Abramovich
my God.
posing with a goat's head dripping in blood, a representation of the occult symbol Baphomet, which is used by numerous secret societies like
Yeah, thanks.
Freemasonry and the
Thanks.
Knights
Oh my God.
Templar.
Like we didn't know
Here's
that.
a spirit cooking
Yeah,
event
honestly, no one sane.
Well, now
is
I'm
gonna
just
go
a
over
wreck,
to David
thanks.
Guarini and like, he's got a skull. This is proof that he's like, this is proof that he's working for Satan.
What's it with you people and skulls, right?
Yeah.
I have a fucking skull. I was satanic this whole time.
Hashtag
Damn it.
liberals for Satan.
Liberals for Satan. Especially Saudi ones.
Yes.
Lady Gaga eating something with a spoon that's smeared all over the body of a mock corpse. Here she is.
Yeah,
with a
she
pentagram.
does shit for Lady Gaga's music videos, who is also a pretentious art person. Like,
Jesus.
you're telling us like we don't know this.
Yeah.
What is this? Just a
Edgelords.
carving of a fucking...
Yeah, pretentious art, pretentious edgy art. That's all this is.
Or 16-year-old attention whores. Same thing.
This is the same thing, yeah.
Hey, okay, next show, guys. I think I'm gonna read some of my goth poetry.
Ugh.
It's really
stomach.
deep.
Ugh.
But townhall.com says that all this is perfectly normal and we just all need to calm down. So how is Hillary tied to all this insane weirdness?
Good
For
question.
one, Podesta is her campaign chairman and they move in the same circles. Maria Abramovich was invited to
They've touched.
Hillary's campaign launch.
They've been in
and
the
Hillary
same
herself
room.
is also known to be into bizarre paranormal practices. Clinton used to hold seances.
Oh, goody.
Like, Donald Trump is like connected to Hillary Clinton more than this.
I know, it's too funny that people ignore that.
In the White
Yeah,
House.
like,
All these people, all the elites talk and shit. And Abramovich is one of them. This is
God,
nothing.
like, why? Fucking why?
to try and contact dead people like Eleanor Roosevelt and Mahatma Gandhi. Bill
Sweet.
Clinton's book also talks about how him and Hillary used to participate in voodoo rituals in Haiti. Hillary's mentor is Saul Alinsky.
Yep.
who in his
Well, that is
They
true.
probably do
I mean,
that
if
from,
you
like,
want to, no, you
anthrop-
could have just made this video. Why not just make this video? You could just make the video where you're like, you know, she really wishes she was Saul Alinsky, and maybe you should look at what he's about. That'd be more terrifying to most right-wingers than any of this. Should be, anyway. But no, instead
Yeah.
this.
But actually, I don't really think. But then, in reality, it shouldn't be terrifying.
To a
Because the thing
right-winger,
is,
it would be.
Clinton is already establishment. Alinsky's Rules for Radicals was about fighting the establishment,
Yes.
and it wasn't about liberals. 'Cause
Not
you could-
not
you could
not
fight any-
implicitly, but the application and even the examples he gives are.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The
And he is the
application
inspiration
example
for
is art.
extremists.
It's not, but it's not something that is exclusive to liberals. You could easily be right wingers and do it, and arguably right wingers are doing it.
Yes.
I mean, the alt right is pretty much using Alinsky tactics right now.
No.
Yeah, those
they're
that
good
aren't
men of
in
the Lord.
those that aren't involved in this particular campaign.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
These guys are nutballs.
praises Lucifer. Should it really surprise us that FBI agents refer to Hillary Clinton as the Antichrist? How did the Clinton campaign?
See, again, you could just make this little video in the middle, and that should be good enough. But no, here we are.
Respond.
No, you gotta
to
connect it to
cooking
something in the
scandal. They
news
blamed
recently.
Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
Yes, they actually blamed Vladimir Putin.
See, this is funny enough. You could have stuck. Why is this about the Satanism angle?
like why not go with the whole blame Russia, blame Russia, blame
That was
Russia
the funniest part of
mentality
this so
that
far to
we've
me.
been on
It's been
constantly.
hilarious.
Like, that is actually, that's a legit criticism.
Yeah, and it's been
That's a legit
hilarious to watch them
criticism
say
she's
that
fucking conspiratorial.
they're willing to say that the FBI is being influenced and controlled by Putin. Now, I'm rolling around on the ground laughing when people are saying shit like that. How can you even possibly believe that?
I was insane.
But yeah, the chat's saying next.
Yeah, no. We'll move on. That was interesting, though. Oh, before we move on, though, Spino, we need you to say leftist again.
Leftists.
Perfect. All right. Oh, fuck me. Okay. So this is very relevant. People were requesting this in droves. It is MTV Decoded.
Oh no,
And
nope,
Francesca has a message for all of us.
nope.
Oh god,
Nope.
god, no, oh god.
Finally, we're going to answer
I'm just gonna mute my mic and let you two have
the
this one.
question you've all been asking. Why does Decoded hate white people? Well, we don't.
Well, that was a short video, I guess. I
We
guess we don't need to
Man,
go
if
on
that
from
had been
there.
the whole video, I would have thumbs it up.
You know what? It was amazing. It was something that it was something that Shu posted because this guy called Angry MGTOW.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't hate women. I just think they're like subhuman and shit.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll see if I can find it.
And he said
yeah,
like
it's
they
the
could
same
be
thing.
genocided or something.
Yeah, it's really
like,
disturbing.
Wait, hang on. Oh yeah, I have no hatred for women, none at all. Recognizing them for being a deadly virus that needs to be eradicated so men can survive is not the same as hating someone.
Oh my god.
I see myself as a research trying to cure humanity as a deadly disease, which in this case is women. I simply see women for what they really are, which is valueless, toxic biological waste that needs to be disposed of.
Sick.
I don't hate women. I just think they're scum that needs to be like disposed of and shit.
He can't be real.
These are amazing.
He can't be
And it's
real.
It's the same thing with like social justice warriors, except they're a little more coded in their language.
A little bit more, and the coding is falling apart now. It's
Yeah.
like I found
It
a
might
video.
as well be that.
It's like I found a video. Oh, okay, these kids are learning this shit at such a young age that they're starting to already telephone game the language. I already have video of kids in a high school doing a pro Black Lives Matter thing and calling themselves and their community colored people, not people of color. Their language has already transformed back to the 1960s, and they're calling themselves colored people.
Hey, you know, if they can do it,
this was years ago. This was when I must have been in. I was in primary school, so it must have been at least 8 years ago, and I can remember they was pushing this PC shit all that time ago, because they posted they showed like this video, and there was these two kids, and they're like, oh, I've got maths next. Oh my god, maths is gay, and they had to like explain why like what was wrong with saying that, and like me being the autistic kid that I was like, well, because it's inaccurate. Maths isn't gay. Like, what does maths have to do with sexuality? And then and like and so
Brilliant.
like, yeah, I never really fully got on board with the PC stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I used to joke with people. I don't understand. The first time I had people try and police it was the word faggot in the really late 2000 era, 2009. And at the time, I was hanging out with a gay guy. And I actually was on the phone with him, and I told him when he was being particularly faggy to stop being such a faggot. And he laughed, because he knows he's being particularly faggy. We all know what I mean when I say that. That's okay. If you don't say stop being a fag, you get guys with gauged ears and lipstick on assaulting people at rallies. You gotta tell them to cut that shit out.
Character generators.
I know, they really do. They look like someone shook up a Skyrim random generator, and that's what we got. I think what we've been doing is stalling this.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't want to see any more of Franny, but we gotta brace. There we go.
There's overwhelming evidence that implicit racial bias is real, and institutional racism is still rampant in America and abroad today. Whoa, okay, talking about oppression.
Let's assume that all of that is true. Let's assume that there is that implicit racial bias is real. I'm entirely capable of believing that's true. And let's say there's a significant enough number of racist people within, I don't know, the criminal justice system, where it causes a level of racial discrimination that shouldn't occur. Fine. Okay. That doesn't necessarily mean that you should blame all white people for being for all of this stuff. It doesn't mean that like that all white people have to like do something about it.
That also doesn't dispute Decoded being racist against white people at all. Like, you'd be like, we have racist systems. It's like, yeah, but you guys are still racist. Like, just because racism exists elsewhere.
It's like the alt-right. They're like, oh, we're not racist against black people. But look at MTV. They're racist against white people.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit. Like, we understand that racism applies across the board. No one has ever denied that racism and racial bias have stopped existing. Our main point was institutional racism is largely over. And to keep harping on about it is just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, and I would like to note, just on a technical standpoint, they couldn't even come up with 5 fake names. And the ones that they did come up with weren't really great. We have Racist Meanie, 365, so Racist Meanie all year. Francesca Hate, you see. And then 2, the Salty Salty. They couldn't even come up with 5. They came up with 4 and doubled down.
The fragility.
They have 2. Yeah, they have 2 the Salty Salties.
Congratulations.
Fucking, wow.
Hashtag the fragilicious. Make this happen.
Someone thought they were
Francesca
clever.
If you're not blocked.
What's frightening is someone thought they were clever.
I think I'm already blocked by her.
Me too.
Yeah, no. I got blocked. All of your followers got blocked, Hagbar.
Yeah,
because
probably.
She did that shit to you.
Yeah, probably.
Doesn't mean I hate
Sorry, guys.
white people. The problem is it's hard to get mad at systems and institutions instead.
No, it's not. They did it constantly in the 60s. What are you talking about? They rallied against all kinds of systems. They would stand out in front of them and hold the signs up and say, fuck this school, you see. They would do that. They did that thing that you're talking about that's so hard to do. You seem to struggle with it.
Too hard.
You seem to struggle.
Get angry at people who benefit.
I genuinely wonder what her position on MRAs would be.
A
Because
negative
are they
one.
allowed to get mad at the system and become bigots towards it?
No, they're sexist.
No, yeah, they're misogynists.
Mm-hmm.
If MRAs say the odd one MRA writes 3 articles 10 years ago, then the MRM is a fucking terrorist hate group that needs to die. But if MTV is posting constant propaganda saying white people are all racists and they don't deserve the same protections that other people do, no, that's just, being angry at the system.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you standing up for men's rights, that's standing in the way. You already have all the rights. You're trying to get extra rights. Come on, women still need some rights. You're standing in their way to equality. How dare you?
Yeah, men have all the rights except for, reproductive, parental rights, the right to call rape rape.
Men are superior.
Yeah, it's
All
because men
hail
are
men.
superior that they don't deserve those things.
Instead of taking these conversations personally, when I criticize the school-to-prison pipeline, lack of police training, workplace discrimination, or our court system, some people don't want to hear it or think about it.
Well, if that's what you did, we would actually be able to have a conversation, but that's not what any of the videos I've ever seen you make are about, so...
How many? We've watched fucking dozens of her videos at this point.
How many, when has she actually talked about, genuine solutions to police training or something?
No idea.
I've got to give Black Lives Matter more credit than this woman. Because they actually do have, for all of their flaws, they actually do have some concrete solutions. And none of them are actually racially based.
No.
If you check their manifesto.
No, and many people have... I mean, I was working with many organizations that were addressing these things. And then they've been colonized by these fucking racists, so I stopped attending the meetings.
Oh, it's just so...
I didn't want to be attacked anymore. I don't want to be... I don't want to be the white guy there. I just don't. It's not worth it for me.
It's funny to me, though, that when Francesca's like, okay, now I'm going to really strike back against my haters, she paints herself as, I've been addressing issues the whole time. I'm just here, minding my own business, addressing the issues of society. It's not like I'm spreading any hate or condemnation on groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really talking about the issues. Absurd.
Let's use preschool, for example. In a study done by the Department of Education, black children make up 18% of the preschool population, but represent almost half of all out-of-school suspension.
Now, note the language used there, because she said almost half.
Yep.
And then showed 50%. I'd love to see what the actual number is.
Oh, it's close enough.
And is it interesting?
And here's the other thing. Is that necessarily caused by institutional racism, or is it caused by more... You could argue sort of like knock-on effects from older things like the GI Bill, where it basically forced black families to to break up and force them into single mother households.
Well, what I would argue is I think it's interesting the correlation there between the 50% of suspensions and 50% of murders.
That's true.
And an
Yeah,
overrepresentation
I genuinely
there.
think a lack of education pushes people into crime.
Well, it's not like when you are taught as a child that violence is the solution, this is what happens. It's not a functional behavior.
The upbringing is definitely a factor, and they do this all the time with every single statistic. They're like, there needs to be a correlation here. You have to make such a leap. Just because numbers don't match up, that doesn't mean racism is at play. But they always do that without needing any other kind of evidence.
And the thing is, racism may have been at play at one point in time, but it doesn't necessarily have to be playing a part now.
Yeah. Well, in my
It's
lifetime,
sort of
I've
like,
known nothing but obsessed
because
white
black
people.
aren't. They're not in this sort of like. Let's say you've like black people have been treated like shit up until say the 60s, and then it's gotten better. Well, the families are still gonna be on average poorer. They're gonna be on average in lower echelons of society, and even if you take away all the structural barriers, then it's still gonna have this sort of awkward disparity. And that doesn't mean that like we shouldn't try to help those people who are in need, but I don't necessarily think a racially based solution is a good idea.
Racially
Let's just
based
help
solutions are
people
the
in need,
only
because-
solution, Spino. You know that. The only way to solve the problem is to obsess on race.
Were the people involved black?
That's the
was
question.
racist.
That is the only question. Were they people of color?
Hey, now that's very offensive. You should be saying colored
Oh,
people.
yeah,
at
shit.
this
It has
point.
shifted again. Sorry.
Francesca is very colored. I noticed.
Oh my god.
Get this video
It's
taken down for
literally
hate
gone-
speech.
It's literally gone back to the fucking 60s.
Yep.
Yeah, no, for real.
Basically, while a misbehaving white toddler might get time out, a black toddler is more likely to get sent home and have disciplinary action on their record.
Yeah, your preschool disciplinary
Citation
record.
needed.
No, your preschool disciplinary record that follows you through life. What are you even talking about? In all seriousness, what the fuck are you on about?
The epidemic of our time, discipline in preschools.
And let's be
Yeah,
serious. You
and-
see,
and, like,
the other
honestly,
issue is, and this is
honestly,
I grew up
Like,
as
like, what evidence do they have that black kids in preschool are being like given harsher punishments for the same like misgivings or breaking of rules or whatever?
it's just a fact. It just must be. Because the statistic of suspensions.
And are they going to actually look at the much more easily provable gender bias in
No.
schools?
Absolutely not. No, that's never going to be brought up.
What does that say to you? For journalists who investigate these kinds of stats, they reach the conclusion that these suspensions are tied to teacher bias. In other words,
Yeah, I love to get all of my information from journalists investigating things. That's always a good, solid scientific way to find stuff out.
Journalists.
Journalists interpreting data. That's exactly what the world needs more of.
That's a scary sentence.
teachers are more likely to see black children as threats to their classroom rather than just kids being kids. And always remember, all toddlers are monsters. This is a huge problem. Does it mean that all these preschool teachers are racist? Not explicitly so.
Not explicitly,
Oh,
but
thanks.
we are certainly implying it. At least you're willing to say that. I mean, you're at least willing to say you're implying racism is the problem here.
Well, no, she's implying that she's implying racism
Uh-huh.
right there.
But not
By
explicitly saying
not
all.
explicitly, sorry.
Yeah, not
She's-
explicitly
she's-
all. But yeah, certainly most of them, sir. I mean,
A majority. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple good ones in there.
Yeah, like if you say that about Mexicans, then what happens? I'm sure some are good people, but most of them are like rapists and criminals and shit.
Raping beaners.
And then what do you get? You get called fucking racist.
mm-hmm.
Even though Mexican is a nationality, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, I can understand where that could. And that's one thing that does annoy me. Yeah, is that if people like, okay, yeah, you might hate a group from a certain nationality, but if you like play semantics about calling someone racist over hating certain people from a certain country, then honestly, just don't bother. Just don't bother.
Yeah.
Because nationality aside, semantics aside, they are being bigoted to a group of people that looks different to them. Yet we don't really have a word for hating people from a specific nationality.
Well, it's just bigotry. It's just, it already exists. The word is bigotry. You're a bigot, and you can be a bigot about anything. That's what I think is the most important thing to remember.
Yeah, we don't have a specific term for it, so most people will use the term racist because it's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's because it's the fastest. It's the fastest thing available in the Rolodex, if you will.
It gets the strongest reaction.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, most other labels.
Really does.
We've talked about that. Most other labels you can scrape off yourself pretty easily. Racist is the one that sticks.
Why do you think they invented the word Islamophobe? That was invented because you couldn't say racist with any sort of believability, and bigot didn't hit quite as hard when you're talking about a group of people that say you're all monsters for not believing. Nobody cares. Yeah, sure, I'm a bigot. What's your point? Yeah, I fucking hate that religion. What is your point? I don't understand. No one would argue
most people,
against that.
Islamophobe doesn't stick. They have to call most people they call Islamophobes racist as well.
Why do you think whenever you see Tommy Robinson videos, they run up and just call him a racist? They don't, you hate Asians, you're racist. Like, no.
Yeah, I've literally, honestly, the only thing I've ever seen that Tommy Robinson...
Yeah, exactly, thank you. The word is xenophobia.
Someone said, I was talking to, it was Kevin Logan, I think. And he was like, oh, Tommy Robinson's a racist. And I was like, do you have any evidence for that? And then they showed him talking about, okay, so I want to keep my British national identity, and you can have your Pakistani national identity. I'm like, and? He just used an example. How the hell is that racist? So, I mean, if that's the best you can get...
You're acknowledging that he wants a British identity, and that's racist. To say that... you understand that at this point in Britain, from what I've seen... It's racist to say that Britain has an identity that is distinguishable from the migrant class. The same way it is in America to say that it's you can't say that you're an American and that's different somehow from being from a,
I mean, to an extent that is kind of true, but not in the way that I think they would say it. I think the thing is with Britain is that there's so many different communities and subcultures and things. There isn't one sort of cohesive national identity, and I don't think for a healthy country there needs to be. I think actually for a healthy culture you need loads and loads and loads of different subcultures. But to say that the the very new migrants and the sort of enclaves of Muslims that are in certain areas, to say that those are in any way are like completely identical to white communities. Or that aren't from predominantly Muslim countries.
Yeah, insular communities.
Then, it's like, what are you saying?
Yeah. Well, what they're saying is if you're supposed to acknowledge that Pakistani culture is okay and should exist in England, but then to say I'm English and I would like to do this, and then it turns out if your way works better, that's racism.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't mind if you want to keep the your Pakistani culture or your national identity or something, as long as you don't do the bad things, as long as you don't do all the illegal things.
But you see that right there? That's you imposing white culture, white British culture on them, and saying your culture's superior. That's racist, Spino. You are a bigot. You think that their culture is inferior to yours, which makes you a bigot. There you go.
Is their culture full of browns? You racist.
No, I'm serious. That's what I've had. I've had many Brits come at me.
I want all identity politicians to answer. What if all white people converted to Islam and all brown people deconverted and converted to Christianity or atheism?
And then what if we started behaving the same way that the Muslims were and went into other countries and just said, yeah, we're going to live like this and we're going to impose this on you? That would be considered racism and colonialism. That would be wrong.
White Muslims.
Yeah, there's loads of white Muslims.
Ginger Muslims.
Something like 10% of Muslims are Arabic anyway.
Yeah, I know. Do not tell the Arab Muslims that. God, they hate that. They hate that the two most populous Muslim nations are Indonesia and Pakistan. They're furious. They're like, God damn it. Because they're really, seriously, I've met quite a few Arab supremacists that believe that Islam was passed down to the people of the Arab Peninsula to rule. And that's why they treat, like, if you've ever seen, what's his name? Najib Tajir or whatever, the fucking Paki preacher. Yeah. He bows and kisses the feet of the Saudi people that have run him. He literally wishes to just be their lapdog. He just wants to be valued by daddy.
Gulf states especially are
That's what I'm saying.
Extremely racist.
Exactly. But I mean, and the way it's amazing.
From friends who live in Gulf states, they are racist as fuck.
Absolutely.
You can't really be the world's fastest growing religion if you're just all Arabs. So you got to get your priorities straight.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to be able to have like 4 wives and 27 kids. It should have happened faster.
They have bias, just like all of us. And fixing
Pakistan isn't Arab? No. No, Pakistan is not an Arab nation. No.
This is even more complicated, including allocating tons of money towards teacher training, childcare resources, and a million other things. So,
as usual, your solution is throw money at it. Fantastic.
Where does the money come from?
Fantastic, Francesca.
Let's just print some more money.
Yeah, let's just make this happen, guys. No problem.
Inflation.
I mean, I'm not necessarily against increasing funding, but it has to be done well, and it has to come with like a genuine plan. The problem with most governments, especially the American one, is that they have this solution of just throw money at the problem, but then they don't say what you're supposed to do with that money. And the people don't really care. They're just like, take my taxes and go away. They don't actually demand anything for those taxes. So what does the government actually do with it? It spends it on pointless wars and buying nukes that don't work and planes that don't work.
Or it gets dumped into badly run and overcrowded schools. That's the other problem that no one wants to address. I actually like that there's a system that's come out recently called K through 12 online, and you can essentially get tested and all this other stuff as you're from home, and it's all the same. It's homeschooling, but it's actually government homeschooling. I actually like that idea. I think that might be one of the best.
I'm not necessarily against that at this point.
Yeah, that might be one of the better choices we have.
I'm mostly somewhat in favor of public schooling.
Me too. Me too. My problem is we have to find a way to integrate the social aspect, but now we've gone completely on a tangent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think
While the chat argues about whether Pakistani people are Arab or not, which is really fun to watch.
We listed a better solution than she could come up with, though, because the money's already being spent. Just spend it better.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to necessarily raise more money. You have enough money.
Well, and at what point?
Sweden is an Arab country.
Yeah, I know. At what point do we admit to throwing good money after bad? That's the question. Because this happens all the time, and it's things like you end up sending all these different grants and things to these schools, and they suck the grants down, and absolutely nothing changes. This happens all the time. I went to a school that this is what happened. They started throwing money at these magnet schools. They turned some of these really bad schools that used to have fucking chained fences outside of them that looked more like prisons into like magnet schools. And for about a year and a half, it made a difference. And then nothing. It has to do with future. That's what I don't think a lot of people understand. Is we're living in the first couple generations that don't think they're going to live better than their parents, and that's fucking not working. It's not a functional way.
Absolutely.
Check in with your feelings. Are you A, mad at the Department of Education for not training teachers better? B, mad at your state congressional representatives for not pushing for bigger education budgets? Or C, mad at me for talking about this because it's easier to direct your anger towards someone making you feel guilty instead of being angry at the complicated as world of institutions.
Oh, I'm sorry. We just
No. Here's what people are angry at you about. Is they are angry that you aren't proposing any solutions, that you aren't actually talking about the problems in a reasonable way, and you are misinforming people.
Yeah.
You're making the problem even harder to solve.
Here's her dichotomy, like, either you need to address these glaringly obvious problems, which there's still a lot of debate we could have on, or else you're just mad at me because it's easier. you're not you're not really
Yeah, like,
describing the problem accurately.
Do they know how many like legit liberals who have been liberals for all their lives and have been and have probably a lot of them worked with liberal organizations and been activists and stuff, and then they get shit on by people like this? Do they wonder? Do they wonder why they get pissed off? Have they considered that there are people who can do all three of these things, that can get pissed off at the government, at the schools, and at you?
Well, again, this is something that I've personally faced in this community. I was, coming from the left. I've been fighting the first two. I'm at sea because you hit me in the back of my head while I was busy. I was doing all this other stuff, and then this wave of racist bullshit came crashing on my shores. And I was not looking for... I thought we were done having this stupid discussion. I thought we were done with this, but no. No, we're still doing this. We're still going round and round and round about how to drag a society up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no. And it has so many negative effects because if enough people become disenfranchised, I think our current election shows that. You make the left look so bad, you give power to the religious right again. Is that what you want? Do you want the exact opposite of everything you've ever advocated for?
Yeah,
because it's about to happen.
Yeah, well, and we'll get to the other half of this where the professor in Canada, I believe, is on our list.
Yes.
And I mean, he's saying the same thing. He's like, guys, the hardcore right is going to win if you guys keep being obnoxious like this. This is not a way to help. You're not helping.
That's what he was saying, and I think that's something that has been a prevalent theme on this show for a long time.
Yeah, and in
like
my
we've
channel,
understood that this was just a bunch of people being stupid and not being willing to face a real problem. They instead wanted to be narcissists and feed their egos and, oh, look at everything that affects me. It's like, well, we're trying to focus on issues that actually affect society, and you're about
they're what Bill Maher used to call lazy liberals.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And although I'm not I am sort of kind of losing respect for Maher over this election, I have to admit he is right about a lot of the social justice types.
Yeah, and he's doing the party politics thing, so I tend to ignore. You know what I mean? I tend to ignore when people start pulling that card. If that's all Trevor Noah were guilty of, I might still listen to him, but he's not. He's just gone full retard.
Oh my god! Don't even. we don't even talk about him.
Is that a threat? What do you mean, is that a threat?
Institutional racism. If you chose C, please resist the urge to close your browser and instead keep listening. You might have noticed, nowhere in there did I say white people are the problem.
So now that we've cleared about, let me see, 2 minutes of a 5-minute little episode here, now she's just going to talk about absolutely nothing but white people. So it's like someone laying out their premise and then saying, see how I was able to do that without ever saying what the problem was? And now we're going to talk about who runs those banks. Now that's what you've done, Francesca. You don't seem to realize what you've done is gone sliding into neo-Nazi. But that's what you're doing. That's literally what you're doing here. The same thing that some of these red pill guys I talk to do, where they lay out a completely normal, this is what I think the problem with, this and that. Okay, sure, I'm listening. And then they go, now let's talk about the Rothschilds. You're like, oh, Jesus, fuck. Oh, here we go.
The problem isn't the Jews. It's really these banks.
Yeah, it's the banks.
Talk about George Soros.
Yeah, it's the banksters. It's not the Jews per se. It's just Jewish bankers, you see. Oh, okay.
Spirit.
I feel better.
That's because these issues are bigger than individuals. It's going to take all of us to advocate for change. So, the next time you have the urge to say, Francesca hates white people, please autocorrect to, Francesca hates the historical roots of oppression that have led to today's societal conditions which allow institutions with
white leadership
to systemically discriminate against people of color.
See, you couldn't actually go to the next sentence without putting white people in that, could you?
White leadership.
Are you functionally retarded, Francesca?
Putting a bunch of bullshit words in there does not cushion this message.
Easy peasy. It's clear that people who get mad about discussions of racism aren't actually listening to the criticisms. They aren't hearing the facts and stats. They aren't even directly disagreeing with research.
It's funny because you're doing all of those things, Francesca, on a regular basis.
Rejection. All the time.
There's loads of stats that people go into and actually like look at, and it's not necessarily that they disagree with the stats. They disagree with how they're being used.
Yeah.
And how they're being used to push a message.
Yeah. When you interpret the arrest rates percentile in the nation as being racism while ignoring the crime stats, we laugh in your face. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the same with like IQ, and this is one thing that the alt-right love is they okay, maybe there is a difference in average IQ. I'd like to look at how they're actually differentiating race at this point in these studies, but they argue, oh, this means that they're that like brown people are inherently dumber.
Yeah,
that's a leap.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you, the fun game to watch has been, if you go back and look, there was, this debate happened in the 1980s, and there was a white supremacist and a black supremacist arguing on the stage in the 1980s. And when they hit the wall of, well, what about the IQ stats? Because this is the guy that wrote the book, The IQ Curve. What about the IQ stats? And she basically says, well, even if it's true, which I can't argue, she goes, black people are just inherently more creative. Now, I was watching, because I watch all kinds of stuff, a bunch of debates online about the alt-right. And when that question was posed about the difference between white people and Asians, the argument was they are the perfect balance between the Asian industriousness and black creativity. That's why they're the best people. They're the most balanced. Asians are just too industrious. That's why they have, like, China has laws where you can hit people and just drive away. Because if you stop and help, then you're held accountable for the rest of their life. That kind of thing, where they're like, okay, yeah, but then the rest of society just goes, yeah, well, I wouldn't stop either, so they just let these people die. Or, I mean, this is what they argue. But the funny thing was, the white supremacists falling back on its creativity. It's just watching the debate shift forward 25 years and have the same argument. It's kind of been interesting.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And they do take it a step further. It's not just brown people are inherently dumber. It's they're dumb, so therefore don't let them in our country. Let's have this pseudoscience influence our foreign policy now.
Instead,
exactly.
They're disagreeing with the sentiment, things are bad for people of color and we need change. Why? Well, Dr. Robin DiAngelo, a white critical racial and social justice...
Yeah, I did a whole thing on this paper she's even talking about. It's one of the funniest reads in history. If you get a chance, please go fucking read it.
...has described the discomfort some white people have towards talking about racism as white fragility.
You can literally just type in Robin DiAngelo white fragility. It's amazing.
Since white people often grow up in environments where discussing race is seen as taboo, some react defensively when the topic of racism comes up. Dr. DiAngelo says this...
Well, then there are the white people that are raised in a household where talking about race isn't taboo. And you really don't like them, do you? It's almost like there's no way to raise a white person who then won't be racist. No matter what.
Yeah, they either hate black people because they're not taught... Because they're not taught to be racist, or they hate black people because they are taught to be racist. There's no such thing as allowing your kid to not be racist, because they have this idea that like you every single kid is takes every single thing in from their parents.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to racism. Like if your parents are racist, you're racist. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as teenage rebellion. There's no such thing as kids going against their just disagreeing with their parents. And they don't suggest that maybe people can just not be racist,
yeah,
and then not be fucking social justice activists.
Well, and what I think is funny is not realizing that reaction, what you just described, is possible when 2 generations have been raised by yuppies, and that might be why we're getting the alt-right. is they're basically doing the opposite of their... No one wants to be their parents. My parents were, you know, rah-rah, USA, fucking patriotic right-wingers. My parents were hippies. Now we've had 2 generations of that. Now we're going to get a swing back. It's pretty standard.
Oh, lovely stuff in store for our future.
Manifests itself as outward displays of emotions such as anger, fear, and guilt, and behaviors such as argumentation, silence, and leaving the stress-inducing situation.
Yeah.
Can I just point something out here?
Argumentation.
There's no answer.
Argumentation.
You can't do anything.
But can I just point out something out there? Like you have this rich, powerful, and popular, famous black woman, and she's talking down to this probably, in the greater scheme of things, insignificant white kid.
Yeah.
And she somehow thinks that even though she is clearly in a position of institutional power and influence over him, and is in a sort of a position of societal authority over him, he's the one who's oppressing her.
Mm-hmm.
By not being like like single-handedly dismantling all of the institutional racism she perceives,
or having not been raised in a household where he was constantly explained how to behave as a white person to not be racist.
But even then, he's still going to be racist because she didn't say in that house if conversations about race happen to be my form of conversation, that white people still won't be racist. And you got people like Milo Stewart, they're like, yeah, even if you're like, even like every single white person on the planet is racist. Like there's no such thing as a non-racist white person.
Doesn't that include Milo?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it does, and he will admit
Fucking
it.
Milo. Insane.
I'd also add aggressively clogging.
All right, what's next?
Yeah, no, fucker. We're done.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
next is the
Good.
His name's Jordan B. Peterson, right?
Good.
He's
someone I have
he's
some
doing a
modicum
debate
of
on
respect
TV
for.
about pronouns.
Well, it is a controversial topic on a Toronto University campus this month. Some people on the campus saying pronouns like he, she, him, or her do not represent them accurately. Now, the university wants staff to use
This is why they built the camps, friend.
alternate pronouns.
for
But
Z's and Zers.
Z's and Zers
Here's
to the day
thing.
camp.
Here's the main one rule that you need to just remember when it comes to pronouns is don't be difficult.
Yeah.
Use pronouns that people will remember, people are familiar with, and just use them. Just be somewhat just show people like a level of mild respect.
Well, what I
Don't
think
be
is
a
funny.
Flash Gordon character.
What
maybe.
I think is funny is I grew up involved with the entire LGBT community. My mom had all gay friends, so it was pretty normal for me to run into cross-dressers and transgendered people, and that was pretty normal in my life. Not one of them wanted to be addressed as anything but her or him. Not one. I never met one growing up. Not a single human in my entire life. What it is are these kids that don't want to make a transition. They just want to be special.
Yeah.
And most of the transgender people I know hate this, or at least recognize that what it's for are people that didn't transition well. There's no other way to say it. And then they're never going to be addressed properly because they're always going to make someone go, whoa! You know, that's just...
Well, it's a double layer of bad. So Z and Zer is ridiculous on its own, but then it's always some bitchy cunt. Like they're about to show in this clip here, like, excuse me, you didn't use my pronouns right.
Yeah.
Can I get an apology for that?
And I'd like to point out, I think Tim Blake makes a special appearance in this video.
Oh, does he? I didn't even see that.
No, it's a gag I've had for myself since the first time I've seen this, because
the
female to male transition guy from New Zealand talks like Tim Blake, and it makes me laugh.
That's awesome.
Jordan Peterson is
It makes me chuckle.
a psychology professor at the university, and he is refusing to do that. Take a look at this.
The reason I'm defending freedom of speech, because that's how people with different opinions
That one. See him? This is what Z and Zer is made for. That thing.
Yeah.
That just wants attention. That's an
much.
edgy goth who now knows he can get power by saying Z and Zer. Fuck that kid.
That's a random character generator.
Fuck that kid. Fuck everything
really
he represents.
There's no other way to... Like, we can't sugarcoat this anymore. Humans are turning into random character generators.
Yeah, fuck this kid. And fuck everything he stands for. How's that? Fuck this kid. Because he is what this is about. He and him and Zer or whatever the fuck it is what this is about.
A child named It.
Opinions in a civil society.
Peterson, do you have any comments on the Nazi presence at your protest? The presence of Nazis and white supremacists assaulting people at your protest. Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I don't like Nazis. I'm speaking.
Fair play.
His casual reaction,
That's a perfect way of shutting that down. Yeah, I don't support Nazis. I don't like Nazis.
Yeah, I don't like Nazis.
Most obvious answer of the century.
Yeah, I'm not even sure why we're having this discussion.
I mean, it's becoming less obvious.
Well, there's that. I mean, this poor guy, though, like, if you're gonna go protest anyone, there's actual neo-Nazis. Leave this poor fucker alone. Come on.
No, because these people are afraid of actual neo-Nazis.
Yes.
They want to go after, they want to go after, like, the libertarian types, who they know aren't going to attack them.
Correct. They never go for the skinheads. That's all I'm saying. They don't fuck with.
look at
Why
the
aren't they out there
people
going? There are biker gangs with guys driving around
wait,
with.
Until you see that fucker, and tell me, like, do you think that even they would consider going toe to toe with a skinhead?
No. Least of all, like I said, I know neo-Nazi biker gangs. What are you gonna do? They'll kill you and just drag you into the desert. You'll just go away. You'll just not be anymore. They're crazy. You're afraid of them, as you should be, and as all sane people should be. So don't act like you're a hero of the revolution here. You stomp. I mean, one of these cunts.
You're just afraid of neo-Nazis because you're a beta cuck male S-Jew.
One of these cunts is the one that attacked Lauren Southern. You attacked a little blonde woman, not a neo-Nazi, a little blonde woman.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just saying that's what we're talking
pretty much
about.
A neo-Nazi.
Yeah, well, she's blonde, so gotta go.
Speaking out the way I'm speaking out because I think this is a route to no violence, and violence is lurking. And you can say that sounds like a threat.
There was no violence at our protest, though.
I just asked, would you refer to me if it wasn't for this
protest?
Yeah.
These people have never been violent in their lives. Of course there wasn't.
Yeah, look at them. How many of them? None of them would go near a bunch of actual skinheads.
No, absolutely not.
None of them would touch neo-Nazis.
No, when a skinhead spit in this kid's face, that would be probably the last moment of his interaction there. You know? I mean, because that would be the first reaction to this thing. When a neo-Nazi saw it, just a spit in his face. Bam! Like, yep, immediately.
Fucking queer.
Yeah, I know, it was the goth guy I hate. I pretty much thought that was him. And I like the Indian guy here on the left, who's also an anarchist, but wants the government to enforce language use. It's amazing. How do these people function?
They can't even get anarchy right.
Yeah, anarchy, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, how are these people even real?
And I asked you to refer to me with they, them pronouns, would you? And your answer was no.
Not if I was compelled to.
But we're saying...
So just an example of how things have become heated at the University of Toronto. That scene showing different groups of students, some confronting the professor about his position, others supporting him. Now, Peterson says this is about free speech, but A.W. Pete is also a professor at the University of Toronto who says that Peterson's language is abusive.
Abusive. This is abusive, okay?
I feel so abused and violated.
This is not okay. This is not okay.
Let me use the government to shut you down.
Joining us right now is Professor Jordan Peterson, as well as Professor A.W. Pete. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.
Professor Peterson, let's begin with you. Why?
Oh, this guy. Yeah, this is the guy that reminds me of Tim Blake.
Against the use of alternate pronouns.
I'm against the use of legislation to determine what words
that myself and other people are required to utter.
But would you use alternate pronouns if a student asked you to?
I think I've made my position on that clear already.
Well, perhaps not to our audience at home who are just being introduced to this. Would you use...
Is that an Eskimo? No, apparently he's Asian, but I'd guess he's probably half Asian.
Yeah.
He doesn't... I'm not trying to be offensive, but he doesn't look full Han Chinese, but he definitely looks like he has Han Chinese in him. I don't know how else to say that. He doesn't... But he does identify as Asian, yes.
No. Pronouns. And why not?
Because I don't believe that other people have the right to determine what language I use, especially when it's backed by punitive legislation. And when the words that are being required are the constructions, they're artificial constructions of people I regard as radical ideologues whose viewpoint I do not share.
Well, we have a graphic to show our audience at home, just some of the...
Oh, good, this graphic.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let's see the list of names. No, it's even better because if you actually go back and look, these have been founded since the 1960s. There are reference points. It's not shown in this graphic, but the original graphic, they stripped all the reference points off this. This original graphic has references where it's like 1976 by Peterson, 1964 by this guy, 1894 by this author. You're like, oh, good, excellent.
Oh my god!
Pronouns.
Look at that guy on the right.
I know.
Just like eyes cast down, like so abused right now.
Being used or asked to be used as alternates. Among them, you see here Z or Zim, Z or here, Z or Zir, also hey or a rather.
You see, even he fucked it up on his first read. He fucked it up.
Can like, who's gonna remember this shit?
Yeah. I have no interest in even learning one of these.
This
Thank
guy's
you.
never even read this. He's like, he's probably almost cracking up at this. Like, yeah, we're really gonna take this seriously. No.
Mm-hmm.
I like that purr rhymes with her. Just so we know.
I know
need
they have
pronounce it
to.
right, or else that's abusive too.
Yeah, it's not peer, it's per. Thank you.
Refer to me as per, please.
My god. What person in their right mind is so obsessed with their identity that they have to change the pronouns you use to describe them?
Yeah, Chris Darling has it exactly right. Just call them retards and faggots like we always have, please.
Your pronouns are faggot and retard.
Yeah. I
Thank
mean,
you.
until you stop. I mean, bullying has a purpose, I'm sorry to say. And I'm sorry if that makes you uncomfortable, but bullying has a purpose.
Yeah, it kind of makes me... I get the joke, but yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that attitude, to be honest.
I understand.
These people are bullies.
Yeah.
The bullying does have a purpose, is to get these people more control.
See,
Like,
these people
like, all
aren't
of the,
functionally
all the people who were
bullies.
bullies in my school, they're social justice warriors now.
No, bullies actually have power. That's the joke.
Governmental power.
Yeah. These people are seeking that power.
Well, and they're getting it, aren't they?
I suppose in Canada.
Yeah, I say
more
not
so
here.
than most places.
I was like, not here. Here
Well,
they're being...
maybe not in America.
Yeah.
But America's always been somewhat a bit further behind when it comes to the social justice stuff.
Thank God.
It's always the last to adopt it all.
Yeah, thank God.
A rhymes with hey.
I know. That's why he said hey because he couldn't fucking figure it out. He said hey or a. I mean
those are
a.
my pronouns.
A and M. Thank you.
Z and Zir. I'm Z from the planet Zir. That's what it is at this point. It's fucking science fiction, and they expect me to call people this?
Yeah. Yeah.
This
No.
is Star Wars expanded universe faggotry.
I appreciate.
Fuck
I
this.
appreciate the kid that demanded to be called His Majesty.
Yes.
Was how. That's how you do this.
I want to be called like doctor or professor or something. So people
Yeah.
have to like address me by a title I don't have.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, sir. I would like to be knighted on my own terms. I'd like to be
That's
sir,
good.
please.
Ooh, I like that one. Or or Lord Shirt.
Yes,
Lord
your
Shirt.
lordship, your lordship. There we go. Brilliant.
Yes.
My pronoun is Lord,
My
lordship.
lord.
My
That would
lord.
be great.
Yeah, that all works.
Her. So just some of the alternate pronouns there. Professor Pete, when you hear Professor Pete,
Just
We
some
forgot,
of
like,
them.
the other 87.
Yeah, let's ignore the fact that there are apparently more, because even he admits there are more. Jesus.
I would have loved if he had like spent 5 minutes reading all of them.
Peterson saying that this is oppressive, how do you respond to that?
The Peterson drama has done real harm.
See? There he is. It's Tim Blake. Tell me that's not Tim Blake all over.
Oh, everything. This guy, his shoulders, that tie.
The
hate
voice.
it.
Just close your eyes and hear Tim Blake talking.
The real people on campus. He's made it harder to be transgender or non-binary. I know
That same kind of lilting speech where he's not really super sure of himself. Not really super sure of himself. Just kind of like, Is it a New Zealand thing to not have any confidence? Is that like a...
Perhaps.
Don't trigger Tim.
Occasionally he pops in and he knows I'm just talking shit.
No, I don't think it is a New Zealand thing, because I don't think Danny Duchamp is sounds like this.
Oh, is Danny? I didn't even know he was from New Zealand.
Oh yeah, he's from New Zealand.
I've honestly only seen the video that got hosted for him. I've not looked into it too deep because I'm fucking busy.
I've got actually, real better things to do with my life.
from personal experience. I'm non-binary and transgender, and I know
See?
how it's felt to be on the U of T campus.
Non-binary.
And transgender.
You're transgender. How? What gender are you supposed to be?
It's
I'm assuming.
is he,
I'm assuming this is a female to male transition. I'm assuming.
I mean, if it is, it's actually relatively convincing. So
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, but
Like, good on you.
This is the kind of like it. Then, should people not address you as he? Is this something that would trigger you? Because that's a problem.
You seem to. If that's the case, then it seems like you went out of your way to look like a he, and you put a lot of effort into that, and you don't want people to call you that.
Yeah,
If I remember correctly.
and I do somewhat sympathize with people who are like, who have had difficulty transitioning, so they still really look like a man in a dress. Like, I can understand why that would be distressing to be called he all the time, or sir, and I can understand why people wouldn't. I can understand why people in that situation wouldn't like that, and how that could be really distressing. However, this isn't what people are arguing about at this point.
Yeah, that's a special class of
yeah, like-
asshole who won't even use the he or she. We've gone beyond that at this point.
Yeah, these are people who are just like, I'm not gonna go and fucking read your chart and remember it. I don't have time for that. I've got more important things to do.
Yeah.
This is on like universities and shit.
He actually
studying chemistry and mechanical engineering and stuff. Do these people really need to spend any of their academic time making sure that they know every single one of the 365 genders, just so you can fucking which really doesn't even, most of them don't even have an actual description to explain them, to explain what they are. They just like, oh, it's a gender that's indescribable. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's a gender
does that
consisting
mean?
mostly of the color purple. But
Yeah, and these people, they like, there's a difference. There's a clear difference.
yeah, absolutely.
For the last month, and I also know from private communications with other affected people. In New Zealand, where I grew up, academic.
You were saying, Taz?
Huh?
Taz said he was Australian. You were saying?
Nope.
You were.
Nope,
what
nope,
was that?
nope.
What was that
New
about him not
Zealand.
being a Kiwi?
Academics have a statutory role enshrined in the Education Act to be a critic and conscience of society. So I think that's an idea worth exporting to Canada. So I'd like to give Peterson about a B+ for his critic role recently, and an F for the conscience part. A student...
I always love it when people arbitrarily grade me due to their own opinions. I give a shit, by the way. I super
so
care.
patronizing. Fuck you. That's like so childish too. Oh, you get, I'll give you a B+ in here, but in terms of like actually being a decent human, F-.
Yeah,
you failed.
God, you're a bad person.
I'm better than you.
According to you, according to Zer, no. Okay.
Yes, I'm better than you. Okay.
Can I just like have can I like demand a pronoun that is like 7 million characters long and has like thousands of hundreds of thousands of syllables, so it takes them like 3 minutes. It takes them hours to pronounce the pronoun.
Yeah, due to the fact that my pronoun is long and unpronounceable, I'd like to file for official government sanctioned handicapping because I can't get a job because no one will hire me with my unpronounceable pronoun.
This might be a way to get some money.
I'm just saying.
There needs to be a special Zer parking spot.
Once said to me,
and my pronoun is so many is so long that I can't put it into most I can't put it into most boxes.
Yeah.
In your in application forms and things. This is oppression.
Excuse me, it seems to say here under gender, male, female, and other. I would prefer to have a Zer box as well.
I'm not really comfortable with the dehumanization of other or not disclosed. I think that's like taking away from who I am and not recognizing and validating my identity. These people are real.
They are, and that's the saddest part.
And I finally obtained tenure. Now, Professor, now that you have obtained superpowers, you must agree to use them for good, for peace and justice. So I invite Peterson to start doing more of that.
Who the fuck has a superpower?
The power of Zer. What the fuck is going on?
The superpower.
I genuinely think this is what's going on with fucking university professors. They're treating their students like children, so they're actually using analogies that like make sense to kids. Like,
no, they are. No, they are. As someone who just
you've got an F at life.
You have power. You're like Peter Parker. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, and specifically the great power of being a tenured professor.
Such power.
This is honestly, I genuinely think that there's a part of me that's starting to think maybe we should extend the period of childhood to a few more years, because it seems that people are taking longer to grow up.
Nah, I'll take state enforcing some sort of labor before I'll take that. I say we make fuckers build roads instead of going to college for 2 years. Right after you get out of high school, go build a fucking road. Go do something serious with your life for a minute and actually know what challenge is, because everyone nowadays is, I think, just a little too soft.
Put them in the camps.
Put them to work. No, I mean, honestly, I honestly do endorse the concept of, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like where you give 2 years of civil service. I have no problem with that concept. Many countries do it. Many countries do it. Many European nations do it. It's not that odd. I just think it's a good idea, and it gives you some sort of tie-in to the society. I think it's actually... I mean, I was joking when I went to the
necessary military service.
See, that's an option. It's not. That's what part of the civil service options. You can do 2 years in the military. You can do 2 years doing civil service. You can do 2 years doing something else. You know, there's always going to be things the government needs to do that they don't want to pay people a ton of money to do. Always.
Absolutely.
And that's what civil service is for.
Well, Professor Peterson, those who are asking for this alternate use of alternate pronouns, they are saying it boils down to respecting their human rights. How do you respond to that?
I don't think it boils down to respecting their human rights. I think that it's an imposition on freedom of speech that's being implemented at a legislative level. I also think that if there was a naturally evolving solution to the linguistic problem that's being posed by a small fraction of the transgender community, that people would have already adopted it. We've never had a situation in the usage of English before that required legislation to produce a transformation in the manner in which people spoke.
That's true. And I think it's really
Yeah.
funny that they even address that in coming up, and they agree, but they still can't admit that then this is bad. They still can't just say this is probably bad then.
This is the thing that I keep seeing with the authoritarians, is that they're realizing they're losing the argument when it comes to authoritarianism versus libertarianism, and they realize that there are a lot of people who will automatically just go against them the second they hear censorship. And now what they're doing is they're saying, oh no, we're not censoring people, we're not censoring anyone. You know, just ignore the blatant like banning of words that we are doing.
Yeah.
That's not censorship.
Yeah, I always think book burning win.
So I'm trying to get this straight.
There
It's
are
abuse.
feminists.
It's
Feminists
abuse
have
when
votes.
Peterson doesn't say "zer," but having the government enforce legislation against freedom of speech is not abuse. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's not stripping away your rights. But what is refusing to say "hey" and
Yeah,
"zer."
it's calling you. It's basically calling you the wrong name. Okay.
Yeah, like, you know, we can have a conversation about that. And you know what? If you're not a complete cunt, I might humor you for a minute. Just to have a little bit of fun.
I knew someone who was it was over a year ago. Someone said that they were non-binary, and they were like, you know, like preferably just use they, but I'll accept he if you forget. They were quite they were friendly and didn't really, they weren't like a massive cunt about it. And I just thought, okay, that's fair enough. Like that's what you should. That's how you're gonna get people supporting you. You don't get this with, like, there are so many people who are pro-trans rights who would even like humor you with this stuff. That the second you start advocating punitive measures against people who don't, they just instantly no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's something between like family and friends.
Yeah,
and I
that's
can understand that.
interpersonal.
You can't go up to Professor Peterson and be like, "I expect you, stranger, to call me this, and if you don't, well, I'm throwing the book at you."
Yeah, like most people aren't gonna just automatically call me Spino.
No.
I'm not gonna go up to random people on the street and ask them to call me Spino.
Yeah.
Lord
But then, oh yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should change my name to Spinosaurus.
I'm an MRA, a prominent one.
That was. Oh my God, that was
sorry.
a fucking joke.
Awesome. Finland has
anyway,
1 year of civil national service, but only for men. How's that for sexism? Huh?
Oh well then.
Sick.
No, you can't be sexist against men.
Sick.
That's a very dangerous.
I love that. I love that it's always
you can
that.
only hate. You can only like hating half the human race is only it's only bad if you do it to one half of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always the more fragile half that's just as equal, too. So that's always the argument, which is great.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
She just said, "I am the MRM." I love it.
There's precedent. So it's one thing to tell people what they can't say. So, for example, we have legislation making it illegal to do such things as deny the Holocaust. It's a completely different thing to demand that people use certain words when they're formulating their own ideas. And
that has honestly, again, that has caused more damage than good ever, by the way.
Yeah, that fuels conspiracy theories.
Yeah, by the way,
Are
that
you
has
fucking
not
serious
helped
about
anything.
that?
I know, and I'm not going to disclose, but I think they've already talked about it publicly, but I'm not going to in case I misremember. I know people that have traveled to America to buy Nazi memorabilia to then hide in their luggage and take back to their home nations where it's illegal. It doesn't stop anything, ever. It just makes these things more valuable. You don't seem to understand that.
Yeah, and Canada's having that problem apparently. That's insane.
Yeah.
People look.
Well, to be fair,
Why
I think
can't we
two
have
of
a
the most
conversation
prominent,
about this?
isn't it two of the most prominent Holocaust deniers are living in or from Canada? One of the two? I mean, very prominent Holocaust deniers. I can't remember who.
Yeah, probably.
One of the guys that
Yeah, I'm
went
trying
and
to
did the
remember.
testing where he scraped the walls and said there was no remnant Cyclone B or whatever. He was from Canada.
The bigger point is,
Canada seems to
this
have
is
a
something we
lot
used
of
to
crazy
just have
people.
conversations about. Like,
Can we
you
just
can-
nuke Canada? Can
Oh, yeah.
Canada just be nuked because it's clearly
It can.
it
Why?
is
We can
clearly
be
a
occupied.
shithole.
vanity. Like most of the crazier MGTOWs come from Canada too.
Yeah, there's no reason to nuke Canada. It's easily occupied. There's like what 100,000 people in all of Canada.
Yeah, we can take over in a night.
Yeah, it's an overnight operation
Yeah, I
for
reckon.
America. We've been waiting for the go ahead for like 100
let's
years.
face it, because Trudeau, if you kill your enemies, they win.
Yeah.
So
you can't kill us.
So they won't. Yeah, yeah. Canada will win if we kill them all.
It is.
Hooray
This is
for
how-
Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I can go in like one-man army. If you kill me, I win. Kill me, I win.
Always remember, if you shoot at me,
Bang,
I have
win.
succeeded.
Bang, you win. Bang, you win. Bang, you win.
And don't hide. And don't hide, because remember, if you're afraid of a terrorist, the terrorists have won.
Yeah.
So
that
don't
shit,
hide.
That shit really pisses me off. It's like, yeah, okay, terrorists want your fear, but the reason they want your fear is for you to do a certain thing with it.
Yeah.
And if you don't do exactly what they want with that fear, then they're not winning.
Yeah. Exactly.
this is
also
what Jordan Peterson was kind of getting at in the first video we watched of him, though. So he was talking about, okay, there's going to be a rise. The Nazis are out there, and if you say you cannot legally deny the Holocaust, maybe this was a Jew conspiracy all along.
Yeah.
I have heard
That's
that
what they're gonna think.
in person.
I-
And oh god,
I think that
it's-
I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I was passing around a quote from who I thought was Voltaire for my entire life. And it turns out that it is from one of the most prominent American white nationalists in history.
what was that?
If you want to know who's in charge, look at who you're not allowed to criticize.
That's not a Voltaire quote.
No. That is a prominent white nationalist. That is Strom. He is
God,
yeah, he is the largest American white nationalist. So
I mean, it's still a good quote.
I
but
know. Isn't that a shame though? Isn't that a shame that it's not Voltaire?
Oh my
Damn
god,
it.
no.
Yeah, welcome to my life,
I will
Spino.
have to look this up. I will have to find some proof just so this isn't a neo-Nazi that said it.
Yeah, well, if you find proof that it wasn't originally him, please pass it to me, because I traced it back, and as far as I can tell, it's a Strom quote.
That's crazy. But it's such a true sentiment. If you clamp down on this hard
Yeah.
enough, it's not like these people go away. They
Yeah.
become, you give them fuel. So thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, it worked really well when they did it in Vichy France, didn't it? The underground certainly didn't get any recruits from the abuses of the Vichy government. No.
Oh,
Absurd. I mean,
Zerg, thanks. That's a good one to start
here's
on.
one thing that's happened that I don't believe the formulators of this legislation ever foresaw. So in New York City, for example, there are now 31 protected gender identities.
What? There are 31?
Is that true? 31?
I would please tell me if that's true.
I want to see a reaction from someone to this news clip. Like, I'm very offended that they only read a certain number of pronouns, but they didn't read mine.
Yeah.
I feel very violated right now.
And I see no reason whatsoever why each of those gender identities can't demand the use of their own pronoun. And that absurd things like that have been happening on the University of Michigan campus, for example, where students have been
Absurd
given
things,
permission to tell.
sir.
Yeah. Zerg things.
Absurd. Absurd your destruction, clearly. Oh my god, Canada's just insane. I can't imagine dealing with any of this on a daily basis.
I can.
Oh yeah, you've got to... It's a little closer to home for you.
Yeah, it's a little closer to home. I'm at a university, so you know.
Yikes.
You're doomed.
How's that working for you?
Yeah.
Family members and others
students don't tend to be as bad.
Mhm.
Probably not. It's not like they're communications majors.
Yeah, they're not communications majors, and I'm at my I'm in my own sort of personal room, and I don't have to interact with other people now, which is good.
Humans are gross, so That's good.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think we're gonna probably move on from this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But our next thing is a clip from the Young Turks. It is a complete non-story about racism within a classroom.
Oh God.
So a teacher allegedly from Wolf Middle School in Center Line, Michigan.
God, no.
Yeah. I love this
Francis
guy.
Maxwell.
What is this guy?
He's from Scotland, and he does the sports on the Young Turks.
Oh God, no, no. Just shoot him already. I don't even care who he is. I don't care like anything. Just shoot him. he just no.
Yep,
no.
just no.
TYT Sports. The thing, and this is something that like really pisses me off, is that TYT has just turned into this fucking. It's just turned into pop media.
Oh yeah.
They actually like do pieces on what Kim Kardashian says and shit. Who gives a fuck? Honestly,
I know.
Exactly.
Who cares? Is like. Well, like a lot of people will go after people like Kyle Kalinske, Secular Talk. Now, like at the very least, Kyle does talk about real issues.
Yes.
And then
No, I
same
wouldn't
people,
deny
some of the people don't like Dave Rubin either. And okay, Rubin has been has had some questionable guests on, and they've said some questionable things. But at least they are talking about actual political issues.
Yes. That is a step above.
Yes, it's a step above the Young Turks.
Same thing for David Pakman. Like I have problems with all these guys, but they are actual. I could feel comfortable saying, okay, you are a news reporter to a certain extent. Young Turks, fuck no.
No, not anymore. Yeah, I like. Yeah, it's sort of like I can at least have a reasonable conversation about the issues with any of those other people.
Yeah. The Young Turks.
Like, okay,
have
they
come off the
might
rails.
disagree with me on a lot of things, but they are gonna be reasonable.
Oh, awesome. Gin Blossom Ginger. Hell yeah. Look at those cheeks. Either he's got gin blossoms, they put way too much fucking blush on this dude.
Someone's putting triple brackets around TYT.
Yeah.
Swastika.
Swastika, that's amazing.
Hashtag swastika.
Has called a student.
The Kardashian thing is an Armenian bone for Anna.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
That makes sense.
A mutt. Now, this has came to an enormous amount of uproar, and rightfully so. The student named Caden Brown was sitting in class when his language arts teacher looked at him bluntly and asked, "Are you a mutt?" Now, this is something.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh my god.
That's just no. You can say what you want, but this woman is probably, or I'm assuming it's a woman, but is probably just an old person. Just realistically, this is just an old person thing in America.
Well, excuse me, Mr. Celine, you just assumed the gender
and
of that
age.
instructor.
And age.
This is
and I'd gamble I'm right.
Patriarchy in display.
Probably.
The kid, Caden Brown, went home and reiterated to his father, not really aware of what it was that was being directed to him, and his dad took to Facebook to show his outrage to this.
Of course, always to Facebook.
I went to Facebook to voice my outrage.
I really hope that's the son's handwriting.
I am not a mutt.
So this is the post. The picture itself is what he posted with his son, basically saying, "I am not a mutt," and then he went on to say this. So it's a long quote. I can kind of break it down in the essential parts, basically. Here.
Oh God, I hate parents. I hate parents. Just don't write things ever. Look at just the intro to this.
Like,
this is my beautiful, smart, joyful, 11-year-old biracial son, Caden. Like, why? Why intro with all that? We didn't need all of your ejaculation. We know you're proud of your cum shot.
The way to take a power away from something like mutt is to say, everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone is somewhat mixed race. Everyone is somewhat has bits of everything in them.
Yeah.
So everyone's a mutt. Cool. And the only people who aren't technically mutts would be inbred.
Slytherin.
Yeah, those
Oh,
are your
wait.
2 options, so
So
consider.
you're a mutt or you're a hick. That's pretty much it.
Those are your 2 options,
take
so
mine.
consider. I mean,
So yeah, don't like it. Arguably, it's not an insult. It's saying that you're not inbred.
he's
That's
not a
good
mutt.
thing.
He's not a mutt. He a pedigree mulatto. Yeah, don't fuck that up.
The
I'm not a mutt. I'm part of the British royal family.
Yeah.
there's that. This is, I can't believe that this is their level of a story. Like they have the power to do a story on anything, and they're like, this will do.
They used to do a shit ton of stuff about like money and politics.
Sorry, I'm reading the post. I shouldn't be. I'll stop. Fuck me.
It's too funny.
This left my son, my heart and joy, feeling like he meant nothing and that he was less than nothing. Oh, God.
Didn't do nothing.
Jesus, this teacher made me feel dirty. I'm outraged in caps.
I'm
of
outraged.
course.
Oh my god, you guys, you gotta see this. This is amazing.
Yeah, he said, being called a mutt
Why are you like this?
left my son, my heart, and joy feeling like he meant nothing, that he was less than nothing. He
Oh,
wrote
he's
on
gonna read
October
the same
13th.
passage that
He even
caught
went
my
home and
eye.
asked his mother, "Why can't
I be all white?" Yeah.
He went on to say, this teacher made my son feel dirty, calling him a mutt, a dog with no identity who doesn't belong. I am outraged. This racist behavior should
I like how he skipped the part where even the author acknowledges that the mother is German, Italian, and Irish, which means she's a mutt too. I do think that it's interesting you skipped over that portion.
Yeah, no. He just wants to get
the teacher said that she was a mutt too.
No, his mother, the woman who's the white woman in the relationship. He's referencing his wife or girlfriend. I don't want to guess.
Francis.
Referencing the fact that they are bits of everything. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and he acknowledges that, but is still angry. It's interesting. It's
Francis
very
just wanted to
interesting.
get to the good parts, aka the parts that agree with his narrative.
I hate when people pass this along, take pictures holding up the same sign. I'm starting a thing, my niggas. Why? Why do this? Why are you? Your son is gonna have.
Not a mutt,
Your son is
2016.
gonna have this picture on the internet for the rest of his life. You realize that, right? This isn't going anywhere.
Oh yeah, you were that mutt.
You're the mutt kid for the rest of his life.
Kid.
Congratulations. Idiot.
not be allowed in our schools. Our children should not be faced with this BS, especially in the classroom, from people that we, parents, entrust our children's protection. So this eventually got shared around, went viral, and it led to a Twitter hashtag, which I think is still growing. I want to try and maybe push for this to be shared a little bit more.
What is that?
What creature is
Who's
this?
the obese white woman? What are we doing?
I am not a mutt. No, you're a monster.
People are saying...
Lift that sign up a little higher.
What are we doing here?
Jesus.
Hashtag I am not a mutt, to show their pride in their mixed race identity. And here's a couple of those.
What are we... This is just... What are you, Italian? What are we seeing here? What is this?
Yes, you are, Emma. You are. And that's a good thing. Just like embrace it. Don't fucking like deny reality.
No, I agree with that. Like if they had shown some pride in this, like, yeah, I'm mixed race. But instead it's like, oh, how dare you? You have labeled me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see what happens when you don't have mutts, I have some royal families in Saudi Arabia that are doing a real good job of inbreeding. They for sure
Saudis
don't.
are known for their looks.
Yeah, they for sure don't have huge medical conditions.
Is relatively inbred too. So
I would imagine.
And I've seen Prince Harry, not looking too great.
Yeah, it doesn't promote good things.
Tweets that are going around. So this is heartbreaking, simply because. I mean, this is such...
You found like a picture of one middle-aged white guy and one middle-aged white woman jumping on this bandwagon. What are we doing? What is this?
It's heartbreaking in any instance where someone
heartbreaking.
He's fucking sweating through that suit. Look at the gleam on this dude. Holy
Damn,
shit,
Francis.
man.
He's like, this is so heartbreaking. What the fuck, dude?
Look at his face. Look at his face. Does that look in any way sincere?
Devoid of compassion entirely. There's nothing there at all. He's just reading he's just saying what he knows he's supposed to say.
Wants to look down at his fancy spy watch. Okay, when am I getting paid?
Also,
Come on.
also TYT. Studio lights come in LED now. You don't have to cook this kid. I mean, you're visibly cooking him. I can see this.
A cooked
No,
phrase.
it might just be the fact that that he's probably wearing like loads of layers underneath or something.
Yeah,
just
he should
just
know.
to, like
He's not
bulk
Young
himself
Turk.
up.
Well, I don't know.
Just wear a t-shirt under
Yeah,
that
I don't know.
jacket, dude.
Shank fucking sweats through his shit too. So I think they just have
Shank's a
crappy
fat
old
fuck,
lighting.
okay, I'm not. Of course he sweats.
Yeah. Let's not. Jank is not a normal. We should,
He's not a normie.
yeah, he's not. He's not a normal sized guy. Or maybe for Americans.
For America, I don't know. He's pretty normal.
No, he's still fat for most of America. You just live in Wyoming.
Yeah, that's true.
Abused in a certain way, but it's kind of put in a certain way that doesn't sound as racially
Aye, laddie.
motivated as obviously what we're known to hear, the word that we're prone to hear and make us really
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it's only a negative thing if you take it as that. And it's just like when because I got a lot of alt writers coming after me because after like arguing with them about race for ages, I decided to reveal to them that I have some gypsy lineage, and now I have like like the minority of my genes are technically gypsy, but then most of them are technically white because they seem to think those two are different.
Yeah.
But for some reason now I'm not white.
Gypsies aren't
I'm
white.
not
They're
because...
gypsies aren't white. They're gray. Don't get it fucked up. I mean, all Eastern Europeans are vaguely gray. Let's not mince words about this. No.
Gray lives matter.
No, but seriously, they went fucking insane over it. But you know what? I didn't take gypsy as an insult. I just took the fact that they saw it as a bad thing as proof that they were scum.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much how it should roll. I don't see the problem with that.
Yeah,
it's like the name thing.
Obsession over the language.
Well, it's like
that's
if
the
just
one thing
don't.
that pisses
How
me
about
off.
this? If you're hanging out with someone, all right, and you're transgendered and you want to be called Zer, and one of the people around decides they don't want to call you Zer, fuck off, and you don't have to hang out with them. You can tell them to go away. You don't have to be around them most of the time. I mean, you can argue that in a classroom setting that's not true, but it is. Even in a classroom setting, you're not usually forced to interact with anybody. You just walk in and walk out.
Everyone I come across to call me Zer. Or Zer. If you do not, then you are the problem. How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
Gypsies
Shock to the
aren't
core.
real people.
I am Gypsykin.
No, I'm Eastern European, yeah.
Spino isn't a true Aryan, or should I say Spino is the parentheses
True
around it.
Aryan.
I'm an honorary white man. There are plenty of honorary white mans.
Well, I've never been an Aryan. I don't even have like blonde hair and blue eyes.
I was about to say, you got brown hair and brown eyes, don't you?
Yeah, I got brown hair and green eyes.
Okay. Well, you wear sunglasses.
Skyrim belongs to the Nords.
Yeah.
You think with all the demographics?
That's actually one of the things that I do like is this is one thing I've kept saying is the way identity politics is being painted as this sort of white people versus non-white people, both from the alt-right perspective and the social justice perspective.
They're the same perspective.
It's a fantasy world.
They're the same perspective. Let's be serious.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they are in most cases the same perspective, and arguably it's a fantasy world, and they're just fighting over who they're fighting over who should support if you should support the Imperials or the Stormcloaks. That's pretty much it. They're not actually arguing over real political disagreements. And they
the
don't
thing
actually
I don't understand though is if you're having demographic changes like white genocide, white people become a minority, why would you have a segment of your movement that's like these people aren't pure enough, we cast you out? You should be like
Here's
trying
the
to
other
find
thing.
as many honorary white men as possible. Then
No, here's the thing with the alt-right and this idea that low birth rates is a form of genocide or whatever. Okay, then you should look at Gulf states. Look at Gulf states and tell me that their birth rates aren't almost identical to Western countries, and they have probably greater amounts of immigration than Western countries. Does that mean Arab genocide?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, there are some Arabs that are talking about that, yes.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
Like I said,
think
there are
there's
some
an
Arab
Egyptian alt-right.
supremacists, but, you know.
I think there is an Egyptian alt-right.
Yeah,
so,
there certainly
you know.
is.
all right.
Yeah.
Oh, there
awesome.
certainly is. It's a growing movement.
Yeah, this is.
Well, and the
it's
thing is that
amazing.
people don't understand is it has to do with generations and poverty as well. You'll see it in America where they talk about, that's why I laugh at the charts that everyone's passing around about the growth of, if you were to cut immigration down, you know, the illegal immigration that is occurring in droves in the southwestern portion of the country, if you were to cut that down, it would stop because the standard of living raises, and anybody who's got money tends to not breed tons of kids. It's just always been that way. It tends to decrease your breeding habits. Yeah, atheists need to fuck more. Yeah, good. I agree.
I can get behind that. Literally.
Yes, I also agree with that.
Yeah, atheists
No,
should fuck.
it's a way of
Breed more
But
atheists.
we don't, but Spino, we don't care if the Arabs get genocided. Okay, so
Damn.
okay,
that.
that's fine. But I want you to be consistent. I want you to be ideologically consistent. If
They are.
and do they think that the Jews are trying to get rid of Arabs as well?
Mm-hmm.
Because they seem to think that the Jews love Arabs for some reason.
No, they think the Jews will use the Arab against the white man, just like they use blacks against white men. Don't you see? This is their
a very
narrative.
interesting
this
view
is,
of the
this
world.
is their narrative. They literally believe that they will use the. I've seen people leave comments on my videos. That's right. You know, keep promoting the Jew agenda against the black and the whites to keep them fighting so they can take all our money. Good goy. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. These are real human beings.
Yeah, they are. Oh my God, it's terrifying how much this is growing.
Uh-huh. I said don't for sure keep letting us not address the issue and scream racist more. It's working so well.
For real.
This ends very well for you.
prejudice towards someone in a way that kind of, especially.
I think we've got the beef of this story. What's next?
Oh yeah, no, fuck these people. This next one, oh no. Okay, this is a guy who left a comment on a video. I always check if people have videos, and this is a gem. This is, I can't even really set this up. You just need to get a load of this guy. You really, I cannot possibly prepare you.
Well, that's frightening.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Turn the light on before doing this
Is this the right one?
Yep.
Oh, good God.
video.
That hair.
I wanted to do a little bit of a video because I wanted to get some of my thoughts across on this particular issue. It's
nice audio.
Better to do this in the YouTube community than on Tumblr because people can actually see me.
No, it's not. You should probably have remained on Tumblr where it was safe.
No one wants to see you.
This was a mistake, friend.
I can actually say some stuff, and I can actually, communicate. I'm getting frustrated, and I think it is that I've made a lot of feminist videos, and I've made a lot of feminist commentary on various communities over the years, and I typically defend feminists, and when I see them being disparaged, attacked, or something, I'm pretty protective of them because of the fact that I,
Dun, 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 dun,
How white knight like you, then I took Misogi to the knee.
I knight
Jesus.
you, Lord Sherritt.
I've been called everything under the sun at this point. I'm a white knight beta cuck, so you know.
You fucking faggot. Limey twat.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
this
just
guy
laugh. I think it's amazing to get insulted on the internet. I honestly do. I love reading comments that are hate comments. Because it's like,
they're great.
It's like I love when somebody comes in and says nobody cares about your opinion, so shut up. And it's like, what, you're here. You just did all of that.
Yep.
That is more effort you just gave me than I gave you.
If you don't care about my opinion, then why the fuck are you constantly like coming after me about it then?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this has been very correctly identified as a regressing hairline.
Receding Ren, I think you're right. I think this is Steve Shive's bottom.
Ew, Jesus Christ. I would like to
God.
sleep soundly tonight.
I would consider myself somebody that's pretty fanatical, interested in members of the opposite sex. I love them. I'm not gonna pretend otherwise.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
Not, a little bit girl crazy myself.
Yeah, be this guy.
It's just dishonest.
Yeah, I want in that puss. Yeah, I want it. I'll admit it right here and right now. I want it.
I'm a little bit girl.
Ugh, God.
Oh, I need to take a shower now. Oh my
This
god.
fucking dude's creeping me
He
out.
looks like such a creep. What is it with all these like male feminists? Why do they have to be like the stereotypical creeper?
I don't know. He's
Like,
gonna
you
fuck
are
a
not-
14-year-old.
You are not helping the image of men.
I've always felt the urge to protect women.
Yeah,
I love them.
He's gonna.
And this is the thing. Feminists keep saying, men have these inherent rapey urges, and they wonder why they get men like this.
Yeah.
Supporting them.
Exactly. You're right. I do. I fucking do. You're like, okay, all right, okay.
Women's.
Yeah, all right, friend.
Yes.
You need to take some saltpeter or something. You need some help.
Yep.
I look at a guy like this and I think he's gonna commit a sex crime violation against someone under the age where some guys will like excuse him. Like under that 16 bar where you're like, there's no way you thought she was of age, dude. You fucked up. But above the legal precedent of 12 and under where he'd get like 20 years. That's what I see in his future. I see him falling firmly right into that category. All young enough that it was obvious he knew what he was doing, but old enough that it won't land him in prison for the rest of his life. That's what we're seeing here. This is a future sex offender.
That's a good prediction. Soothsayer Hagbard says.
So, the thing about gender identity is that it's always been very confusing for me because of the fact that members of the opposite sex have typically been the ones that have engaged in empathy with me. And it hasn't necessarily come so much from members of my own sex who have largely, treated to be like shit sometimes. And some of the shit that I get coming from them, I mean, particularly like from the YouTube community, for instance, where...
Oh, God.
Shit, that's us.
Oh, here we go.
That's our fault.
If you say that you're a feminist, they're like, okay, fine. But good luck with that getting you laid. And that's what they do. That's what their parting shot on it is. Essentially, like,
I think they would say that regardless.
Yeah.
I think just looking at you, they're like, dude, I'm so sorry. It's going to be virgin till 45 at least.
Oh, he's a grand wizard in the making, no question.
This is the point in the video. Hagbard, would you like to check the length of this video?
Oh, I already know how long it is. It's an hour and 8 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Fucker rambles on for an hour.
Yeah, I already know. I don't even have to look. It's an hour and 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, I remember this. When I uploaded it, or when I downloaded it, it was the one that was sitting there, and I'm like, why is this taking so long? Holy fuck, it's an hour long. Yeah.
Why?
And no, warped reflection. No, women don't empathize with him. What happens is they feel sorry for him, and he mistakes pity for empathy. And that's not good. That's not healthy, and that's not the good basis for any sort of relationship. He's an emotionally damaged individual.
Pity is not helpful.
Yeah, he needs help. I'm not lying about that. He probably does need fucking somebody to support him emotionally for a while and get him out in the world and confident of himself. But this isn't it.
It's and there is a level of emotional support that everyone needs. But then there's a level where they need more than the average person's going to give them.
Yeah.
They need a bit more help before they will be able to have a stable, healthy relationship.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of guy I honestly think about is the type that needs exactly what we were talking about, a year or two of service, a year or two of being, fucking having to rely on himself. He's never done that. It's very clear.
Grow just a slight sense.
I mean, I'm not even
self-worth.
bashing him. I'm actually sad now. Like, this guy is
no.
clearly a fucked up
see,
dude.
I see a lot of men who have this exact same sort of this exact same sort of persona, except they've been like this, and then they've gotten into a relationship, thought the woman could do no wrong, and been around people who thought women can do no wrong. Then she does do wrong. She fucks him over, and now they're MGTOWs.
Yep.
And now they're these sort of these sort of very meek men, but now they're really pissed off at women in general.
Yeah, they get angrier and angrier and angrier.
Okay. This is the guy showing up to Roosh V's seminars.
No, this isn't a guy who would ever show up to Roosh V's seminars. This is a guy who would
he'd protest
at some
Roosh V.
point
Protest them.
No, he'd protest Roosh V seminars up until the point where he gets fucked over, and then he'll sit at home and watch like videos from Turd Flinging Monkey.
Yep.
Calling out names.
All right, let's skip forward.
Yeah. Let's see what's
Okay.
going on. Oh my
All
God.
right. Okay.
Jesus.
Oh God.
I already
shave
feel
it all
regret.
off.
I already feel regret.
It's really asinine that a lot of it's going on at all. It's really fucking like crappy.
Why?
For them to do this. So for what it's worth, I don't really like, hyper masculine men. And the thing is that there are a lot of gamers out there that strike me as not terribly, no matter what they say, and no matter how they try to go back and reframe this and be like, no, I'm a real man, that strike me as not really, conforming to, the gender role of male.
No, actually, there is a grain of truth to that. That there's a lot of like pseudo alpha males.
Yeah, there's a ton of posturing.
especially online.
It's to the point where, I mean, there are memes about it. We got a badass over here. This is internet badassery. It's a common thing.
Yeah, and especially people like Roosh, like Matt Forney, like the Golden One.
God.
They're fucking like yes, we're alpha males, but we don't mean alpha males by at the top of at the topper echelons of society and in charge of everyone. We couldn't say that because we're actually just fringe weirdos.
Yeah, but you can be. Well,
so
the thing is it's like it's pecking order within the fringe, and every subgroup has a pecking order. Even the most ostracized of groups, there's going to be the king of that group, and that's basically what these guys are all competing for, just like any other subgroup does. Awesome, hyper masculine. Try any masculinity.
This guy really doesn't like hyper masculine.
Yeah. I know I don't seem to have an issue with anyone who's actually genuinely confident within their own gender expression.
Yeah.
It's the people who are so unconfident about it that they have to attack other people's gender expression. Those are the people who you really have to worry about. The ones who are like attacking you for not being enough like them, which is or not being enough like how they or like how they see themselves. So if you have a lot of these more effeminate men, like I'm a good man and all of that stuff, and you're too masculine for me, and then there'll be like these faker these posturing pseudo alpha males that are like, oh yeah, I'm alpha male and you're a beta and you should be more like me. You should agree with my political opinions because that will like somehow affect how awesome you are. It's pathetic, and it's all obvious insecurity.
Oh yeah, obviously.
It's so obvious. It's just.
It's like I said, it's downright disappointing.
Yes, it's a joke.
Okay, up. Do it.
You know, because male is often thought of as, you know, muscular, manly men, you know. That
all right, we for
those
sure
arms haven't seen the light of day.
Often ask is, well, why can't you just be, you know, a sensitive guy and stuff? And they'll put the brakes on it. And the thing is that I don't have an...
Actually, he might like. I mean, his arms might be dark. His arms might be darker than Edgy Sphinx.
Maybe a little bit. A little bit.
Wow.
Damn it.
Answer to
this
that.
is the French girl pose, dude.
Yeah.
This is not good. Just stop.
Confused sometimes, but
trying to use his Jew mind powers on us.
What are you doing, my dude?
This is a very Jewy video.
What is this, my dude?
Why an hour? Why?
As somebody, though,
But even
that
then,
is...
he was like, he was like talking for an hour.
He lost track of
Why are
time.
you in your bed? Well, I don't want to see you in your bed ever.
Yeah.
Now I've exposed hundreds of people to it.
He's
Thanks.
rolling around in his bed telling his Tumblr story. This is something.
Yep.
This is surely something.
This is why Tumblr should die.
Male.
Draw me like one of your French cucks.
Has had girlfriends in the past.
French cuck.
It's just the totality of what it was to be female and their perspectives and such just didn't strike me as being able to be simplified in any capacity. But you can't do that, you know. It's just not, you're not able to ultimately do it, and because of the fact that you're not able to ultimately say that's objectively feminine or that's objectively,
Dude, no,
you know,
stop.
masculine, it's, or instead of it's, you know, my subjective value judgment or my interpretation that that's feminine.
Okay, so just basic postmodernist
actually,
thought.
He's, in his defense here, he is making a reasonable point that there is a level of up to interpretation between what's masculine and feminine.
Yes,
like
there is a spectrum there.
And that's, yeah, well, he's not necessarily saying that. He's just saying that certain behaviors will be considered masculine in some areas and some will be considered, and in other areas it will be considered feminine. Cooking's one.
Yeah.
It can be a really manly thing to cook to some people, and to other things it's like, no, that's what women should do.
That's for the women.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there is the like. He's not entirely wrong, but oh my god, the cringe.
I like he's like pulled the. He's pulled the inner
You know, they say
lining out
that
of
kind of
his
shit,
pocket.
you know, about people, you know, trans
Like this.
women, and that's offensive. That's offensive. It very.
Hey ladies, how you doing?
That's offensive.
Y'all want to cuddle up on my twin-sized bed? Now's the time, girls.
Bedroom eyes all the way with this guy.
Oh my god, he's clearly just like he's peacocking for the women.
Yeah.
He thinks he's gonna get from
Serena Williams has toxic masculinity. Sick.
Guys, I'm gonna admit it right now.
Ronda
I'm a little
Rousey has
crazy.
toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Little girl crazy.
Oh, I
Ladies,
just unzipped my pants. Yeah, I know.
Any females in the audience right now? This man needs a cuddle partner. Get on that shit.
Very much so is offensive.
Actually,
people...
no, I think he needs a male. I genuinely think he needs a dude.
A hyper masculine male.
I don't like hypermasculine men. No, the problem is you're uncomfortable around hypermasculine men. Now, that discomfort might have many sources. Can we have a discussion about that?
Yeah, I would say that about pretty much. Oh my god. This man is so easy to pause face. It's amazing.
Good God.
Wow. Ultimate O-face.
I will shut up.
Every time you yawn, it's because a ghost done stuck his dick in your mouth.
That was a big
it's
ghost
offensive,
dick.
you know, and you know, I get it, you know. I get why that would offend trans women and such, and why they would have a problem with people saying shit like that.
Okay, we're done. What's next?
Yeah,
I fear the rope. I feel the rope. We need to. Yeah.
All right, we could do one more, and I think we're going to.
Is it going to be the leader?
Let's do the. Oh, do you want to do that one, Hagbard?
Which one?
That would be the last one on our list. That's the Lena Dunham rap video.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
That's a thing. It's the purest cringe that has ever been created.
That is sensual pantsuit anthem.
Yeah, it's the only thing that is cringier than the alt-right dogs trailer.
That was pretty bad.
The what?
So we got something to live up to.
Alt-right dogs? What?
Oh my gosh, you need to see that one as well.
We'll play that next time.
I will send it to you.
All right.
To brunch.
Brunch at Lena's.
Come
What
on,
the
right?
fuck? Do you guys know?
What in the fuck is this?
Have you not seen this, Hagbar?
No. What in the fuck is this?
You're missing out, bro.
Lena,
Well,
how do you
maybe not
know?
really.
Lena.
I'm gonna end it there, but that was a good show, and that was a good ending. I can't believe Hagbard hadn't seen that, so we got his fresh reaction.
Yeah, I don't even know who that rapper was. That's how old I've become. I honestly don't even know who the fuck Charlemagne was. I had to Google it on my phone.
I didn't know who he was either.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, no, he does some fucking show, and he had a feud with Tommy Lahren a few months ago.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's the level we're at.
Good.
But anyway, thanks to Spino for coming on. It's always a blast. Check out his channel if you haven't. Thank you to Hagbar for running the show. And we will all be seeing you next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Fuck off.